YouTube, I missed y'all, but I'm super excited to be back and making this kind of content on YouTube. Just breaking down prospects, films in the 2026 NFL Draft. Super excited to be rejoining y'all in this because I feel like the 2026 prospects have just so many good players and future maybe all pros, Pro Bowlers into the National Football League, and players that overall just project so well. Speaking of one of them that we're going to be breaking down today, Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate. Now, this is a stacked draft class, I feel like. When you look at the top names, the top three are usually going to be Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon. I'll be making the case to why I see Carnell Tate as a wide receiver one in the National Football League and why he should not only be a first rounder, because I feel like him being a first rounder is already a given, but a top 15, maybe even a top 10 prospect or draft selection in this draft. So, again, appreciate the love and support y'all have been showing to the channel. In August, we reached 100 subscribers. Couldn't have been done without you all just being who you guys are. So I appreciate it. It means the world to me. And let's just get straight into the video. Let's watch Carnell Tate. Reason number one why I believe Carnell Tate is a consensus top 15 or top 10 pick in the NFL draft is because of his route running. So we are shown that Carnell is to the top of the screen right here. He's running a go route versus a defensive back that has inside leverage. And of course, in college, the hash marks right here are a lot further apart from each other than opposed to the NFL. So what he's going to have to do is as opposed to running this go route, like how it is on paper, it would just if he were to just run straight, he's going to limit the amount of separation he can create and limit where the quarterback can throw the ball to him. So here we go. Let's watch it, and let's just slow down a little bit, and we're going to rewind it just one more time because we see there's Carnell to the top of the screen. His path is vertical right here, so he stays on this path. But watch him work from about, I think he works from just inside the numbers right here to where the bottom of where the Big Ten logo is. What that's going to do is it's going to force the defensive back to stay inside, but also look at the room that he's able to create for himself and for the quarterback to throw. Yeah. And another thing I want to mention with his route running is it feels like he just glides. Now keep in mind, this is at three-quarter speed. That's what the playback speed is. But it feels effortless to him. He looks very smooth in his route running. And in terms of the route running or even the release right here, like there's not much to really analyze. He's given a free release. There's not even a defensive back within his vicinity for about 10 yards. You see he's at the 20 right here. There's the safety at the 30. But if there's something you're going to take away from this clip, it's his hands and his comfortability with catching the ball when it's outside of his frame. So let's pay attention right here. There's Carnell to the bottom of the screen. Okay, he's on a slant route, but he's able to extend with his hands, extend fully, make the not a contested catch, excuse me, make the catch outside of his frame and extend those arms. And another thing we can take away, and I feel like Ohio State wide receivers that were coached by Brian Hartline, this is one of the things that they struggled with is yards after the catch. So it's very hard to analyze, and I don't want to analyze things in a picture by picture frame when we're pausing it because that's not how the game is played. These are players are playing at full speed, and we know the type of athletes that are on the field. But if he decides to ultimately cut this back to Jeremiah Smith's side right here, like he decides to cut this back to his right, I feel like if he just goes straight, he's able to get much more than this. So you kind of get the feeling of his awareness in terms of yards after the catch. Like he's trying to work this back to Jeremiah's side, ultimately gets cut off, having to work behind his blocker here. And I mean, he gains a lot. Like he gets to about the 30 to 31 yard line, but there's possibility for potentially more. It's a very select few wide receivers that I see utilize the rocker step and like to name a wide receiver or give you an example. Like Justin Jefferson, if you watch Justin Jefferson when he's running a post route, and even sometimes when he's running a in breaking route, like an in route, he's going to utilize the rocker step. And let me show you first what the rocker step is for those of you who don't know. So there's Carnell Tate to the top of the screen right there on a post route. That's that rocker step right there. Like if you see that move that he gives the defensive back. So we rewind it at about right there. That's when he's starting the rocker step. He's going to use that left foot, and he doesn't, with the left foot, he doesn't like extend too far out of his frame. So he keeps everything balanced, which by keeping everything balanced gives him enough force to really explode out of this rocker step. And then you look at the separation he's able to create, right? Another example of him extending outside of his frame. There's that rocker step. But another thing I want you to pay attention to within this route is the effortless movement. Like he looks very smooth. He looks very fluid. On tape, it doesn't look like he's giving 100% effort. And I don't want you all to hear that and take it like a bad thing, but understand how effortless he is within running his routes. And he keeps his frame very on an even plane. Like if you heard Tom Brady when he was talking about JSN running his routes, he keeps himself and his pad level, his shoulders really square. That doesn't give the defensive back any indicators, so he leaves and eliminates all indicators on what the route is. And he's like very polished. A typical Brian Hartline wide receiver, just very polished when it comes to the route running and route manipulation. One thing he does so well is his awareness to where the sideline is and that toe drag swag. Like he is able to make some really difficult catches when he's to the sideline and he's having to do what I'm about to show you right here. So again, in terms of the route, nothing too much. They're giving him a lot of cushion, nothing too much to even the release, but just watch him in his effortless ability on these toe drags swag situations. So quarterback is rolling out. I mean, it just looks flawless. Like something that's so flawless, you got to put it up in the museum. You got to hang it in the Louvre. Like I mentioned with that rocker step, Carnell Tate does it so well that he rocks defenders to sleep with the rocker step. So here he is again on another post. This is more like a variation of like a post scene, and then the way he's able to just utilize leverage into his route. So here he is to the bottom of the screen right here. And as I get the video played, he's going to stem inside. What that does is it's going to get him away from the defensive back right here, number 9. And it's also going to have him force the leverage and really get into the space of this safety right here to the top. And watch the rocker step right there. Then another thing he does really well, and that he's done really well, is the contested catches, especially this year. Just really effortless with it. And then the ball tracking is good too. Like this is a ball kind of semi, I would say, yeah, I would classify it as underthrown in terms of he can lead this receiver more. He can lead Carnell more. Carnell's got to stop for it. And let me tell you, when you're a wide receiver and you're having to stop for a ball that's got a lot of high arc on it, and you have to really flip his hips and turn your chest to the chest of the defensive back, that's not a comfortable situation. And some guys just aren't able to come down with the catch that way. But Carnell's able to. And let's go back to the rocker step. I want you to watch it. About right there, he starts the initial step. He's very polished using that rocker step. Really love the way he works the leverage and just the crafty footwork he has with it. So again, the hashes in college are a lot spread out than you'll see in the pros. So he's working a post route up against his defensive back with outside leverage. A lot of wide receivers, and maybe some of you watching this video would say, oh, okay, it's outside leverage. He's running an in-breaking route. Like he should just be able to just go straight up with the defensive back, press on their toes, and then snap it off to the post. Not necessarily, and I like what he uses, and I like what he does here because it's going to give the quarterback just that much more space. And when you see that the defensive back, I think they go into a three high here with the corners and the safety. When you see that they're in this kind of look here and it looks like a three high, you don't just want to run this straight and then go, and then you don't want to just run straight and then go off to the post because then you're going to work into this safety right here. So you have to do the reverse and work to the outside leverage here. That's what he's going to do. So, all right, they drop off into that look. He works outside. The crafty footwork that he uses on the rocker step is shown there again. So let's watch it again, especially the footwork here. Ball snapped. He presses to the outside, then breaks it off to the inside with that foot right there. Good, just good explosiveness to be able to plant off of one foot right here. Work on the toes of the defensive back, and then look at the separation he creates. This is probably my favorite route that I've seen Carnell Tate run because it is NFL quality and it's NFL level A plus plus plus. But just the knowledge and just being an overall route runner plus the knowledge with it. So he's on an out route right here. Out route, defensive back has outside leverage. You can still, if you're athletic enough or you feel comfortable with yourself, you can still work this defensive back's outside leverage and then be able to get, that out route, but probably not the easiest thing to do. Definitely not but one of the harder things you're probably going to have to do, and what's what he does right here, he works to the inside, gets close to the defensive back, really gets hip to hip, and is able to close that space, sink his hips into the ground, explode off of that, and then create that separation. And it's just good, so good on so many levels. So works inside. He's going to even work even more inside, get the cornerback to feel like, okay, maybe I'm thinking this is an over out, especially with the path that he took from his release point to his stem right here. I've got to work this way and I got to gain a lot of ground. Carnell's got his head down, being able to just snap it off. He starts to sink his hips at the 29, finishes at about the 31, 32, creates that separation. It's just so good on so many levels. Like that's a hard thing to ask a receiver to do, and you really have to be a sharp route runner to do it. And he's shown to do it. Time and time again, he's shown to be a technician when it comes to his routes. Wanted to add this clip here because the contested catch, like that's one thing he really worked on from his sophomore year to his junior year is just coming down with contested catches. And especially you want to see it for a wide receiver that I believe he's going to be anywhere from like 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. So he's a receiver that's got height. You want to see them do good in contested catches. That's exactly what he shows here. It's a really impressive play too. He's gonna be running an over route or seam route. Quarterback rolls out, having to make a contested catch. Really extends out outside his frame. When you do that as a wide receiver, I want the audience to know that you're in a contested catch situation and you extend your arms out, knowing that the defensive back's going to see that. They're going to chop down at either arm. You really got to have strong hands. So it's something he's got right here. Strong hands, comes down with it, and he's able to get it to be an NFL quality catch, meaning that he's going to get a foot down, a knee down, and just make an absurd catch. I wanted to include this clip because we didn't see him versus press man like this a whole lot, but in the situation that we did right here, I felt like he did pretty good. And the skills that he has with the rocker step, especially with his footwork, the way he's able to manipulate leverage and all of those sorts of things, I feel like even though we didn't see a whole lot of it, it's still those skills that he has can translate into winning versus press man and those sorts of things. So we see right here, he's going to be running, I think it's a go route, like a variation of a go seam route versus a defensive back with outside leverage. And then you watch the footwork here. It's more of a hesitation release. So he's going to use this back foot right here. No wasted movement. Get this back foot even with his front foot and then be able to just really dip the shoulder and then work past the defensive back. So watch him here to the bottom of the screen, what he does with his footwork. Split kind of goes from that back foot, gets ahead of the front foot here or even with it, able to dip the shoulder, uses kind of a little bit of that rocker step, gets separation, and then the contested catch too that we've mentioned, even double catches that one. The toe tap is just so good. It's really good. So, he really uses a lot of the traits that he's good with. So he's going to use a lot of the rocker step to really manipulate the leverage. He understands the leverage. He's going to press it and he's going to force it. And as we see in this play, so there's Carnell. He's right to the bottom of the screen right here. He's going to be running a comeback route. And then watch this, the toe drag swag. He's got the defender on his back. Makes a tough catch, working back to the ball with the defender getting into his back, having to get both feet down too. I mean, that's a really tough catch. But now let's look at the route running portion of this. And I want you to pay attention here. Of course, he works the defensive back's leverage, but he's going to put his head down and he's going to go. His body language is giving off he's going to go full speed into this route. So it looks like he's going full speed. At about this point right here, he raises that pad level up and he really raises his head up. Again, another thing where it can be useful, but I feel like against a defensive back that's got better footwork, maybe better athleticism and patience, it can be something that could possibly hinder him. Rocker step there. He does a good job for a big receiver, I feel like, just sinking his hips. So there's the rocker step, able to sink his hips, get into that sitting chair position or lower, and then really explode off of it. Now, here's an example where that raising of the pad level can really work to his advantage because as a wide receiver, like I said, you're always in control. You can raise your pad level, but the defensive back still has to know, all right, there's a lot of these options. He can go to my outside shoulder, he can go to my inside shoulder, he can give me a move, he can go right through me. What is the possibility of outcomes that's going to happen? The defensive back doesn't know, but the wide receiver does. So there's Carnell to the top of the screen right there. He's going to be running a dig route and it's just really well polished. This is where he can get really creative with that raising of the pad level and then just being able to plant a foot in the ground, change the direction. Really good too for a big wide receiver. So there's a lot of things to like, especially within this play. So there he is, top of the screen. It's going to raise that pad level here. Maybe he's even going to give him a hesitation move, closes the space, and then watch the separation he's able to get. You see the defensive back react off of it, get separation, turns the defensive back completely around, 360. This is so good. Talking about press man and what he's able to do, plus his creativity, it's just a lot of juice on this play and a lot of things that you can really work off of as a wide receiver and a lot of positive things that he shows to be a wide receiver one. So there's Carnell in the circle to the top of the screen right there. He's got the defensive back with looks like inside leverage right here. And let's just go into the play. Let's analyze. So he's going to give him a hesitation release right here. Fake like he's going to the outside. Snap it back to the inside. Snap down. I mean, I feel like there's just so much to love about his game and his overall craft. Now, I'm going to break into specifics of the potential that what he's shown right here within his footwork and his overall play, the potential it has. Because in this situation, the defensive back's going to feel like, all right, I'm in press man or I'm closing the space on his release right here. I'm inside leverage. I'm going to be expecting something maybe like a slant. And what you see on a whole lot of slant routes is the wide receiver is going to work what's called a diamond release. So a diamond release is you give 3 hard steps to the outside, then work back inside. That's what Carnell does. He's going to force the defensive back to the outside. Defensive back reacts off of it. And then look, he's able to get them turned around. If this were a slant and Carnell was able to break it off, I feel like he'd have a whole lot of success. But he's running the in route. You see him be able to just really sink his hips low. Like there's so much to love within this play right here. My final take on Carnell Tate is that he's going to be a really good wide receiver and a wide receiver one for a team that's in need of it. What are the things he does really well? Well, we've already mentioned the route running. The route running is spectacular. The way he's able to manipulate his routes, the footwork he has, and the rocker step. Like that's something really technical that very few wide receivers do, but he's able to master with perfection. And then being 6'3", he does a really good job. He's a good mover at that size. He's able to sink his hips. He's able to get low, play like a smaller wide receiver with some low center of gravity to really get in and out of breaks really quickly, plant one foot into the ground, and then just go north and south. That's something he does really well. And then using that size to his advantage, he's able to make some really good contested catches. His sideline awareness and then his sideline footwork to make toe tap catches is really impressive and just really a thing of beauty overall. And things I feel like he could potentially work on, or you're questioning, is it going to be in the toolbox, or is it something that isn't ever going to be? Probably yards after the catch. And I feel like that goes with just about every Ohio State wide receiver that's ever been coached or recruited by Brian Hartline. So yards after the catch is one of the things. And something technical wise is he at times he'll raise his pad level, which is an indicator to the defensive back that the route's going to be broken off at some point. But and as we've mentioned in the video, he can use that to his advantage because at the end of the day, the receiver is in control. They can raise their pad level, but the defensive back still has to understand: is he breaking inside? Is he breaking outside? Is he going to give me a move? Is he going to go straight through me? What's coming next? So those are just some strengths and weaknesses I feel like he has in his game. The strengths by far overweigh the weaknesses. In terms of NFL comparison, I'm seeing a lot of people say Devontae Adams, and I can see that because they're taller wide receivers. They have really good footwork. They're able to make some really good catches to the sideline. They're both technicians when it comes to their route running. So I like that comparison, but I also feel like the T Higgins comp is just it's so close. Like they're really similar players, and what they're able to do within their route running, their hands, contested catches, the footwork that they have to the sideline. Like him and T Higgins is like a 95% match. I feel like, in my opinion, in terms of teams I'd love to see him go to, I feel like the Tennessee Titans, especially, they've got the quarterback, they've got a really smart offensive coordinator who's going to know how to get the ball into his playmakers' hands. That would be a really good fit. The Saints would be a really good fit because Tyler Shuck, he played really good. He had a really good start to his rookie year. He's played really well. They've got a smart offensive minded coach in Kellen Moore and Chris Olave alongside of him. Both of them, what they do overall, can really complement each other really well. Uh, those are the two spots I would say for certain that I would like to see him go to, especially with the kind of stability they have at quarterback as opposed to some of these other teams. But appreciate that's it for the final for the film breakdown of Carnell Tate. Appreciate those of y'all tuning in. Can't wait to see y'all next time.